And I want to talk Arsenal with you, Dharmesh. Mykhailo Mudryk, is this going to happen?
Arsenal got the chance to go 10 points clear, I think, in the league this season. And I think they see this as a unique opportunity, potentially. If they can do some good business in January, they could actually win the title. Sorry, you want to hear me say that. But they remain in talks with Shakhtar Donetsk over the forward Mykhailo Mudryk. Now, negotiations are continuing over the size of the fee, but perhaps more significantly, the structure of the payments of that fee. One source has told us that Arsenal are prepared to pay a fee closer to Shakhtar's valuation, but there's still no agreement as yet. But the feeling is that sources close to the deal are beginning to think that both clubs will find a resolution so that Mudryk will become an Arsenal player. He wants to move. That is becoming clear. Personal terms not expected to be a problem. If you look at his social media output in the last couple of weeks, he's actually been filming or photographing himself watching Arsenal's games against, I think, West Ham United and against Brighton as well. We reported last week that Shakhtar value him at around £85 million. Arsenal working hard to try and find a compromise. But look, Arsenal have been in the market to bring in a forward as early as the summer as well, because remember, they went in for Leeds United's Rafinha. They put a bid in. He ended up going to Barcelona. They didn't end up filling that position, but it is one that there has been a priority, and it looks like Mudryk is the priority signing for them.
Tell us about Joao Felix. Are Arsenal in for him?
This is a very, very interesting one, because it's now emerging that Atletico Madrid would allow Joao Felix to go on loan until the end of the season. We're told that negotiations are continuing between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid over that possible loan signing of Joao Felix. It's thought, though, this is where the stumbling block is, that for a 6-month loan, including wages, Atletico Madrid want in the region of £19 million, just for 6 months. Now, if you take out the price element of it, because Arsenal don't want to pay that, they want to come to a price that they feel is realistic for that length of time.
Of course, they don't want to pay £19 million for 6 months.
Of course not. But with regard to the actual loan itself, in a way, it would work for both parties if they can secure the price. For Atletico Madrid, he's got a contract as Joao Felix until 2026. Now, if he was to go now, because Atletico Madrid, you get the impression that he's not in their plans, if he was to sell him now, I don't know how much they'd get for him. They spent in excess of £100 million for him, remember. But if they put him out on a 6-month loan and he performs well, he will maintain that market value, because he still have 3 years left on his contract when he comes back. With regard to Arsenal, the loan will probably work as well, because Gabriel Jesus is injured, but he's expected to come back before the end of the season. So if they can maybe bring in Mudryk and Felix on loan, it would more than cover Gabriel Jesus' absence, and then they would be in a position where Mudryk and Felix could play in positions which wouldn't actually impact on Gabriel Jesus' position as a number 9, because they could play all along the forward line. So potentially exciting. They're in for both, it looks like, at this stage. The one that looks closer is Mudryk from Shakhtar Donetsk. Joao Felix, though, there are negotiations underway.
Sorry, Kaveh, just 1 second. Dharmesh has made some great points there, but 6 months loan, 19 million quid. That's bonkers, isn't it?
It is, but I think that 19 million, you're talking about the loan fee plus wages. So the loan fee, I think, is about £13 million. The wages is about £6 million. £13 million, of course, it is a crazy amount of money to pay just for 6 months. But you're talking about a player who costs more than £100 million when Atletico Madrid signed him. What I was going to ask Dharmesh was, is it a case of Mudryk is a young player, lots of clubs in Europe want to sign him, he looks an incredible prospect, Arsenal have been tracking him for a very long time, and if they were to sign him, it could potentially be an incredibly good signing, and a signing that would really excite their supporters. Compared to Joao Felix is a player they're just being offered, in the sense that he's fallen out with his manager at Atletico. He doesn't get on with Simeone. His agent, George Mendes, has tried to sort something out. The window's open. let's get in touch with some English clubs because that's where the money is. Arsenal, Manchester United, see who's interested. Is that the sort of difference?
Look, just because he's been offered, he's still a quality player. He's still a quality player. And Mikel Arteta.
But I think if you were to ask Arsenal supporters which player they would want, I think most of them would say Mudryk.
Yes, I'm sure they would. But who's to say that they can't get both?
Wow.
Who's to say that? I'm not saying that they are going to get both, but it's clear from the information that we're getting today that negotiations are at an advanced stage with Shakhtar over Mudryk, but negotiations are continuing with Atletico Madrid over Joao Felix. They don't want to pay £19 million, of course they don't. But on the flip side of it all, imagine they could get two players like this into the club, or at least one of them, in a position where they're top of the league. And when you're top of the league, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson always said you always strengthen when you're at your best. So Arsenal will probably be looking at this as a unique opportunity, as I mentioned before. No one expected them to be challenging for the league, let alone be 7 points clear at the top of the league. And yet, here we are. This is not 5-6 games into the season. We're coming up to the halfway stage of the season. And Arsenal, make no mistake about it, are in a title race.